In a world where creepypastas are deleted before you can say Jeff the Killer, only one man can save them from a fate worse than death. Behold, umbysworld presents Deleted Creepypasta Theater.
It was a miserable night. Rain belted down outside, and I was stuck at the front desk until 6 a.m. I worked at a mid-range, brand-name hotel. Nothing too fancy. I glanced over the reservations. Only one hadn't checked in. Being so late at night, my mind wandered. I imagined they had fallen prey to that serial killer in the news. You know, the one who left victims posed like an angel? Then I snapped back into the real world. For the first time, I focused on the name. Ariana
Grande.
Huh? Ariana Grande? Cat from Victorious? Cat from Sam and Cat? One of my favorite singers. Gosh, I loved her. And she was coming to my hotel. Nah, I was sure it was someone on the last shift playing a prank on me. But then, the phone rang. It was a deep voice. He said, Miss Grande would be there in about 10 minutes. He was part of her check-ahead team. For a second, my voice cracked nervously. He told me she required absolute privacy and discretion on my part. No one was to know she was a guest in the hotel. My heart beat faster as I watched the clock. My chest got all nervous as I knew any moment she would come in. Her call-ahead person asked I leave her key ready at the front desk. He paid in advance, over the phone, saying she was tired from traveling. And I assured him I wasn't some stalker.
I'm psycho!
Just then, the front door opened. My head spun with eager hope, but it wasn't her. It was a large, gargantuan man with an odd scar on his face. He looked like a serial killer.
Oh my god, was that racist?
All that local serial killer stuff had got to me, so I instantly eyed him suspiciously. Safety of the hotel guests was completely my responsibility. He slowly approached my desk and stared at me intensely. He looked a little like the police description, but had other features that didn't match. But he certainly had this scary vibe. During the whole check-in process, my eyes were on the front door, still eagerly awaiting Ariana Grande. As Mr. Gargantuan walked away, like magic the doors opened, and in she came. A hat masked her hair and dark sunglasses covered her movie star eyes. My heart beat faster and faster as she approached. I wanted to shout out, "I love you, Ariana Grande!" But knew she'd heard that way too many times. So I tried to remain professional and displayed her key. She smiled. Yes, Ariana Grande smiled at me, this guy! And then, without another word, she gracefully whisked the key away and walked to the elevator. The elevator doors opened, then closed, and she was gone. The smile inside my chest wanted to explode. The most amazing feeling ever. I wanted to tell someone she was at my hotel, but it was so late, all my friends were asleep.
I had a dream. Kids ate me.
A few hours later, a group of girls came downstairs. They were in town for a cheerleading meet and had the munchies. I so wanted to tell them that Ariana Grande was in the hotel, that she was in the room right next to them, but I couldn't. They would be sleeping next to possibly their biggest idol and never know it. But I promised her check-ahead guy that I wouldn't say a word. As morning came and my shift was near its end, Bobby McGee, a local beat cop, stopped by for his usual coffee. I loved him coming in because it made me feel safe. Occasionally, we'd have a few homeless people also, since the allure of a free coffee machine for guests is like a light for a moth. Bobby came over and made some small talk. He told me to be vigilant, and be on the lookout for anything suspicious. The angel killer was escalating. He showed me the sketch artist rendering, and I told him it looked closest to the gargantuan man who had checked in earlier. As Bobby went on about how gruesome the killer was, I started worrying for Ariana Grande's safety. At 6 a.m., my shift was over. I drove home and went to sleep right away. When I woke, I had breakfast.
Tacos, yay!
Played some video games, then went back for another grinding shift. As I was on my way back to the hotel, I switched on the radio. Suddenly, the radio announcer mentioned my hotel. I gasped in horror. As I pulled up, there were multiple police cars and even a helicopter. I saw Bobby, who then approached me.
4 victims, he said, all posed like angels.
That doesn't happen in nature!
I asked him what room and realized it was the girls from the cheerleader meet. I assured him the hotel had excellent surveillance, and he told me that they'd already gone through the footage.
What do you recall about someone in sunglasses and a hat from last night?
Hey, what is this? Some kind of quiz or something?
What do I remember? Everything. It was Ariana Grande. He looked at me like I had lost my mind.
Ariana Grande?
Oh, right.
Yeah, she checked in last night.
Which room?
He asked urgently. I quickly led him and other cops down the hallway. Oh God, I hope she's okay.
I'm pretty scrappy.
As I opened the door, Bobby pulled out his gun and motioned me to stay back. He ran in, swinging the gun in all directions. Then he kicked in the bathroom door.
Clear!
The police all lowered their weapons. He motioned me in. On the bed were Ariana's sunglasses and a wig. It took me a minute to understand. The angel killer had worn a disguise.
Spoiler alert!
The person who checked in, what did they sound like?
It was then I realized she didn't say anything to me.
Could she have been a he?
I was floored, embarrassed, but mostly sickened. I had let the angel killer into my hotel. If I'd realized, I could have done something. This is all my fault.
Don't be sad.
That night, the hotel transferred its guests to another hotel and shut down. I drove the streets knowing I'd lost my job, but I didn't care about that. All I cared about was finding him. But everyone on every corner looked like he could be the angel killer. I sat down in a diner, contemplated why the angel killer would pose people as angels, and called all the hotels in the area to look out for a fake movie star or celebrity checking in. The angel killer had the police after him, and now me. And I was going to be relentless until I had him in my grasp.
Tacos, yay!